Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape for every one of us. I was kinda late, I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fate, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome, and good morning or good afternoon to some of y'all. Welcome to a new episode of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy. Of course, if this is your first time on the show or first time watching the show or watching the live, thank you for joining the ride, and I hope that you continue on this journey with me. But if this isn't your first time, thank you for coming back and being patient with me because life has been lifing. But at the same time, as long as you have a resilient spirit and supportive people around you, you can make it through anything. And I am so happy to be on the other side of that. So here we are on HWP on this Monday morning slash afternoon. And hopefully, you're eating your food, you're being intentional on this Monday, keeping yourself together because, of course, this is a wrestling day. Emphasis on day because Raw is coming on in the afternoon for us on the US side, but of course it's on the nighttime on the other side of the world. But yeah, it's Monday and I'm just so happy to be in front of you guys on today to talk about what's going on in wrestling. And we've come from an amazing wrestling weekend between AEW, Forbidden Door, and NXT Heatwave, and just so many other things. But I want to start by saying, over these past couple of weeks, I've been reflecting on the direction of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast because, of course, before everything happened, I announced that I was going to be bringing a co-host on, Bianca Addison. She's still coming on the show. She wasn't able to come on today, this afternoon, but she will be on in future episodes, and I'm so happy to have her on as a co-host because in the entirety of the 5 years that the Hardy Wrestling Podcast has existed, there has not been a co-host. I've had all kinds of friends, all kinds of hosts, all kinds of wrestlers, and everybody and their mama on this show. But I've never had a co-host because I wanted to. But of course, at the time in 2020, there wasn't that many people who were comfortable with being, on a podcast or speaking into a microphone. So I had to do this all on my own. And I'm happy about that because of all the blessings that it has brought. But I am thrilled to have a co-host by my side, along with Katrina from In Cat We Trust for Steph and Cat Talk Wow as well. And just the show is growing. But in the midst of all the reflection that I've been doing since SummerSlam and everything, I want to preface my show and preface this statement by saying this is an all female led show and it is an all black female led show. And I value women in the wrestling space and value women as a whole. I always have my entire life. I love the women who raised me, the women who helped me to get to who I am and laid the foundation for me to be who I am. And because of that, I want to say that I, on this show, will not be referencing that man. And I'm pretty sure if you are in wrestling and you know who that man is, BL, you know who I'm talking about. I will not be addressing that man on my show. This is my form of protest. This show was built on the notion of talking about all the things that I love in professional wrestling in a positive way. And I will continue to focus on that. I will always talk about WWE, AEW, TNA, WOW, Women of Wrestling, and all the things that I love in indie wrestling and all of the above. Everything that I see, I'm going to continue to talk about it. But the one thing I don't want to do is make my show uncomfortable for some people and comfortable for some. That's not what I want to do. So, my form of protest is to not talk about any person that has ever made any woman uncomfortable, or made any woman feel abused in any way, shape, or form on this show. And hopefully, this show can continue to become a safe space and a safe platform where you can hear about what's going on in professional wrestling without being triggered in any way, shape, or form, or feeling like you're being excluded in any way, shape, or form. My table is for everyone. And if you don't necessarily like the way that my content is going, and you can feel free to not engage with it anymore, and I wish you nothing but the best. But I just have to do what's organic to me. And what's organic to me is to continue to talk about the superstars that I do love and respect, and to talk about the wrestling that I do love and respect without giving any form of a platform to anyone who has done harm to anybody over the years. And that's just my perspective on that. And yeah, I just want to operate with that in mind, with this being a female led platform, and just continuing to be a positive force in wrestling. And that's just where I wanted to start, by saying that this is a safe space for everyone who loves wrestling and who just wants to be a part of things without, and know about things without feeling like they're in danger of being triggered, or in danger of being, reminded of hard times and all of the above. So, with that being said, we are going to move forward with the Hardy Wrestling Podcast episode. Um, this week by talking about, well, starting with news and gossipish. And the biggest piece of news and gossipish that I want to talk about, that I've been completely obsessed with all week long, has been the announcement of of Naomi. And hopefully, if technology actually serves me at this point, it'll actually like pop up on the screen, because like, help me. Don't help. Help me. Like, there we go. Okay. Naomi. Last week on Raw, Naomi made the fabulous announcement that she is expecting her very first child with her husband, one half of the Usos, Jimmy Uso. And of course, a lot of speculation was going on online, talking about what this could mean. How come she wasn't medically cleared to go up against Io Sky for the title a few weeks back and everything? A lot of people were trying to tell folks not to just speculate and just wait till they tell us, and all of the above. And, once the announcement came out, everybody was like, okay, well, she's going to be on Raw. Let's see what she has to say. And now, with this announcement, we know that she was not medically cleared simply because she is expecting a baby. And I am so happy for this lady right here. She has done nothing but be an innovator and rise from an era where the women weren't taken as seriously, and brought her athleticism and upped her game to the point to where she has, accomplished so much in wrestling, been a champion, been Miss Money in the Bank, been all of the things. And now this blessing has been brought upon her, and she gets to be a mother. She has been a mother to us wrestling fans for all these years, and now she gets to be a mother to her own child. And that's not to say that she hasn't been a mother before, because of course Jimmy had children from a previous relationship, and she embraced them as her own as a stepmother. So now this is just her own way of contributing to that family dynamic with her own baby. And this made me so happy because, of course, if you've watched any form of Total Divas media over the years, you know that their relationship has been, her and Jimmy's relationship has been a very loving and passionate one. And they have been, playing with the idea of starting a family for a while. And also, she as a woman has been struggling with her own fertility issues for a while too, which she did discuss on the new episode of What's Your Story with Stephanie McMahon. And in the midst of her, of course, discussing what was going on, with her fertility journey, um, she was a little bit upset because she was afraid that in probably one of the most greatest runs of her career, she got pregnant and she was afraid that she was letting her fans down. And it made me so sad to hear her say that because I was just like, girl, do not put your life on hold and a goal that you've had for so long on hold for us. We as wrestling fans will be just fine. Even though there were a lot of us who were kind of like, oh my gosh, she just won the title and we wanted to see her have this long run. We had just saw her defend her title successfully at SummerSlam, and we were feeling a little bit slighted, but at the same time we are still very happy for you. I'm very happy for you and Jimmy. It's so beautiful to see you guys add to the bloodline that will just never end. It's just a beautiful thing, and I'm just so very happy for the both of them. So, in the midst of this, of course, she had to relinquish the Women's World Championship that she held for a little bit over 40 days. And as I was thinking about it, I was just like, man, she really won that title in probably one of the most memorable cash ins of all time at the all female pay per view Evolution in Atlanta, which I was so blessed to be there for and blessed to ask her a question at that press conference, too. And she probably wrestled two matches while being pregnant. She was 7 weeks pregnant, now 8 weeks pregnant, when all of this was going on. And it's just so nuts to think about the fact that she was in a no holds barred match where she got slammed through a table by Jade Cargill and then ran and cashed in her money in the bank briefcase, excuse me, on Io and Rhea and won the title, defended said title, and had her entrance with her father, which is another parental theme that we're seeing here too. And now she's getting ready to give birth. And it's just such a wonderful thing because we've seen her go from the Divas era to becoming her own champion and on SmackDown to having to relinquish that title only to win it back at WrestleMania and then lose it and then, become a tag champion. And then, of course, everything that happened with the walkout with her and Mercedes and her betting on herself, getting better at her craft, going to TNA, becoming a knockout champion under her own given name at that, and then coming back to WWE. And though a lot of us in the Naomi mob were upset at the trajectory because we wanted to see her win gold like super fast and quick, the way that she was able to switch from the beautiful glow girl that we had known for so long to this cautionary crash out character has just been nothing short of phenomenal and epic and brilliant. And she has just reaped all the benefits and all the blessings of this. And I am so thrilled that this Black woman gets to reap the benefits of all of the love that she has been receiving from her family and also just from us as fans and all of the above. So, congratulations to you, Naomi. Blessings to you and Jimmy. And also, let me just say that her being public about her fertility issues on Stephanie McMahon's podcast gave women the courage to tell their stories of their struggles with wanting to conceive and have children with their significant others or husbands or whatnot. And when you tell your story, it frees other people, to tell their life stories and share their testimonies as well. And that's something that is a greater impact um than just winning titles and just being on a television show. You're letting a group of women feel seen. And I love that for her and I love that for Jimmy and I just love that as a whole. So I am so thrilled for her and I feel equally as blessed to have seen the big blessing that she had in winning the title. And now we move into this new era of her being mother. So I'm just really thrilled about it. So congratulations to her. So in the comments, we have Patrick, who's watching, saying, "Who do you think will become the next Women's World Champion?" I don't know. Considering Raw is about to come on in a couple of hours, maybe we'll get the answer as to what's going to happen with that title. Because of course, Stephanie Vaquer won, or Stephanie Velcro won the Battle Royal at Evolution, and she technically has a chance. So I don't know what that means for the title right now, but I can't wait to see what's going on. I don't give a fox reposted the stream. Thank you so much for that on Twitter. Dallas, Big Dallas is watching. Big Hardy Energy, thank you. And also Goat, thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that in the comments as well. So, moving forward with more news and gossipish, there is other stuff that we have to discuss, and that is, of course, the deal with ESPN and WWE. This was a very polarizing decision, to say the least, to the fandom because, of course, we've been used to watching all the PLEs on Peacock or on the WWE network before they moved to Peacock and all of the things. But now WWE had this new deal with ESPN where now they're going to be debuting beginning on September the 20th. It was supposed to start next year, but other deals happen, behind the scenes, and now a pay-per-view of all the PLEs are going to be on ESPN beginning next month on September the 20th. In their statement, WWE said the first WWE PLE to kick off the ESPN partnership um, will be the first ever WrestlePalooza on Saturday, September 20th, live from Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, which was, of course, the host city for the Royal Rumble, which set the event's all time attendance record. And WrestlePalooza will stream on the new ESPN direct to consumer streaming service beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On September the 20th, ESPN becomes the exclusive U.S. domestic home of all WWE PLEs, with all PLEs available to ESPN DTC subscribers with the unlimited plan. And additional PLEs coming up this year are Crown Jewel on Saturday, October the 11th, and Survivor Series War Games in San Diego on Saturday, November the 29th. So, in the midst of this, a lot of people put two and two together to make four and mentioned that WrestlePalooza will also be going on the same day and same time as AEW's All Out event in Toronto. And that caused a bit of a ruckus on social media, between people thinking, well, why is WWE trying so hard to counter program with AEW? All of the above. I'm so sick of it. I'm going to Toronto. All the things. Everybody is angry. And they're also being angry about the fact that they just don't want to spend any extra money on yet another subscription service in the advent of subscription services now. Because, of course, you have Peacock, you have Netflix now, you have so many other things that you have to, be subscribed to if you don't want to miss any WWE programming. And I understand times are hard and people don't, want to pay extra for certain things. And of course, it is up to whoever. It is up to you, whatever you want to do or whatever, or however you want to watch things. Because there are also free platforms that you can feed into, like YouTube, to keep you up to date with certain things. Because I know I used the heck out of YouTube when I was in college, to keep up with wrestling and all of the above. And of course, there is Tubi that has Evolve, and you don't really pay for that either. But I do understand the idea of having to pay extra to just watch wrestling and all of the above. So it's a lot that people are having to think about. And there's also the discourse of WWE fighting with AEW. And for me, I wish that there really wasn't a counter program because from my perspective, being at the last WWE PLE I was at, which was Evolution, of course, which meant the world to me, um, and knowing that in the same weekend you had everything that WWE had going on while also AEW was doing All In Texas, it was pretty jarring. It was very jarring mentally for the most part because there was a lot to have to keep up with. As a wrestling journalist, you're still trying to keep up with everything, watch all the people that you want to watch, support all the people that you want to support. And there's only so many hours in the day, especially if you're either on vacation or you're doing media work or you're at your regular job. Like, it's a lot to keep up with. And a part of me just wishes that they weren't, so counter programming and weren't fighting each other. But then again, I'm the type of person where I just don't want people to fight ever. So I don't know. I'm just a peacekeeper. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, like, can y'all just be on one day and just somebody else be on another day? That would be helpful. But, business, fighting, people want to do all the things. It's like the 90s all over again. And it's just crazy. But the more wrestling, the better. The more platforms, the better. And that's really all I can say about that. But of course, feel free to move how you want to move for your affordability. And that's really all I can say about that. But ESPN and WWE, I always imagined a world where ESPN and WWE would work together and actually have more sports programming, but I never thought it would actually happen because on ESPN, if you watch that channel, you have your few sports pundits who really will sit and talk about how they feel like WWE isn't real or they feel like it's fake, or you have other people on other media platforms who talk about how they feel like wrestling is fake and all the above, and they don't respect it as a sports art form. And that's really what my biggest concern is with this WWE ESPN deal is if you're going to have people on ESPN covering WWE and talking about it in a way where they don't take it seriously or they want to talk about it as if it's this jokey thing. And that's not going to be okay for me. Because if you watch wrestling, you know that it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of athleticism, and a lot of know-how in your mind to create the show that we see on a weekly basis. And just because it's not football or baseball or all this other stuff doesn't mean that you can't take it seriously either. So, big ups to this deal, but I'm watching y'all ESPN. Please do not talk about these wrestlers as if they are not athletes. Please. Please don't do it. Because if you do it, I'm gonna be mad, and if I'm mad, that's not good. So, yeah, we will see what happens with this deal. But just ESPN, respect my sport. Respect it, please. Just respect it. That's all I gotta say. So moving on into more things in news and gossipish, there are other um concerns that people are having in wrestling with a certain person, I think, making their, well, not making their return. Before I even get to that, John Cena has been out here doing the dang thing, and now he's become a good guy again as we reach sort of like the ending quarter of the year and the ending quarter of his time during his retirement run. And we now officially have all of the dates that we have him for. Of course, he's making appearances. He's already made appearances on SmackDown in New Jersey and then there's SummerSlam. But of course, he has made his appearance in Ireland. And then this week he'll be on SmackDown in France. Then there's Clash in Paris. There's a SmackDown in Chicago the day after my birthday, September 5th. There's Raw, which will be in Springfield, Massachusetts on September the 15th. There's October the 11th, which is Crown Jewel in Perth. There's Survivor Series in San Diego. And then on December, he will be having his retirement match. And it's assumed that his retirement match will take place on the last Saturday night's main event of the year. And I'm not ready for him to go. I'm not ready for him to go. Even with this heel turn and with all the things that people have been talking about, how this heel turn was a bust and they just did it for the shock value and all that other stuff, and with him being a good guy now, I'm just not ready for him to leave. It's like, I know he made the announcement. I know he said it. I know he told us. I know this is real. I know that he's wrapping up for his health and all of the above. But I'm just not ready. I'm not ready. There is no form unless I go to therapy and talk about it, there's no form of me and my inner child that is prepared for him to leave. I'm just not. Because he's just been there. And even when he wasn't consistently there, he was still always there. There was always the notion that he was going to still come back somehow. And now it's August and we're going into September. And then after September, we have 3 months left and he's going to be, you know, retired. And I'm just not ready for that. I'm not prepared for any of it. I even bought his magazine where he was on the cover of People, and I was just reading that whole profile, which was really great, but I'm not ready for it. They had all the pictures of him where he won titles, where he made his debut against Kurt Angle and all of the above on UPN and all of that. And even with all of that, and even with him becoming the never seen 17, I'm still not ready. I'm just not. So hopefully at some point y'all can just send me good vibes and good energy and pray for me because I'm not. I'm not. It's not good. I'm not ready for any of it. So I'm trying to get the comment on here. Um, I don't give a fox is saying I'm also not ready, but I'm glad he gave us this much time to take it in. No, absolutely. You are absolutely right about that. I am glad that he gave us time to take it in because there are some people who say they're going to retire and then don't retire. And sadly, you have a lot of people who don't even get a chance to have a retirement tour. They just fall out with the company, but then just when things are starting to get back situated, they sadly pass away. Like there's just been so many people who have not had a chance to have the closure that they would deserve to have. And at least John Cena does have that closure. So I'm glad that we do get that level of closure with him and that everything is okay and that we will still see him in movies and he'll still be an ambassador like he said. But my inner child, my 2000s child that wanted to marry him when I saw him in the Marine with that shirt off just doesn't want to see him leave. But I don't know, man. Times is hard. Um but just pray for me, y'all. I'm not ready. So, in speaking about a hard thing, I have seen rumors. This is the only time I'll be addressing this too, because he's another problematic figure in wrestling. There's a rumor that Chris Jericho might be thinking about coming back to WWE because he has not been on AEW television in a minute. I've also read somewhere that the Learning Tree, his group with Big Bill, I still want to call him Big Cass, I'm sorry. Big Bill and Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, is really no longer a thing and he hasn't been on there. But a lot of people are speculating that he might want to come back to WWE. There was a rumor from the Wrestling Observer newsletter saying that there are people who are under the belief that that Chris Jericho is leaving the promotion when his contract expires at the end of the year, and that he will start in WWE as a Royal Rumble surprise in Saudi Arabia. However, Fightful Select says that many people in WWE have no clue if Chris Jericho's AEW contract is actually ticking down or if it's frozen and time could be added to the end of it. So, this is another person who I feel like WWE could do better without. And this is no shade because Chris Jericho was somebody that I did love back in the day. And I appreciated his run in AEW, but where he went wrong at was number one, when he decided to throw shade at Missy Elliott for being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And number two, when a report came out about how he did Kylie Ray. And Kylie at this point is connected to the WWE ID program, and she is, I believe, if I'm correct, the WWE ID Women's Champion at this point. And if you've read the report, you can go on and Google it if you want to. Um, I want Chris Jericho to be far away from women as a whole in wrestling, period. And bringing him back to WWE for like nostalgia vibes, it's just kind of like, okay, no, I don't care about this. Like they can keep him away. Keep him away because if he's out here and if he's been out here abusing, his notoriety to just, be like this creepy perv, then we don't need that. So that's just all I wanted to say about that. So they don't need him, and I would prefer if he didn't come back. And here again, HWP is for the safety of all women. So if hearing this made you feel a way, I'm so sorry. But this is just something that I had been seeing online that I wanted to discuss. But he is another person that I will not be discussing any further on this show because he just does not deserve it. So, yeah. And of course, I had to end off my news and gossipish by talking about the 10th anniversary of Mercedes Monet's match with Bailey for the NXT Women's Championship in Brooklyn. And of course, this past week they celebrated the 10th anniversary by actually going on an IG live and talking about, how much they remember, how nervous they were, and just how much, the game has changed for them, and how many women have come up to them and said that they're the reason why, that match is the reason why they want to start wrestling. And I just wanted to just take more time because I know I talked about it on Stephanie Cat Talk. Wow. I just wanted to just take more time to congratulate these women for everything that they have done for professional wrestling as a whole, with this match, after this match, before this match, and right now. Everything that these women are doing is just absolutely fantastic. You have Bailey and her character work about to pop off in a new way. And then, of course, you have Mercedes, who is just out here just winning more title after title after title after title over and over again, and having great matches with so many women, on greater platforms and also smaller platforms that you might not have even heard of before. So I just wanted to take my time out to say that I'm just so proud of these women, and this will always be one of my favorite matches of all time. And yeah, and I've talked about it ad nauseum before on another episode with Janelle from HR. So if you want to go back and watch our Four Horse Women episode, please do. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Also, in speaking about sports, Kevin Owens took the place of Rey Mysterio at the Daytona 500, I think. And I was really happy to see that he was able to participate in a NASCAR thing. That was really cool. And also this weekend, even though I wasn't able to find a picture of it, the Street Profits were at the rivalry game between Kansas State and Iowa State, which was in Dublin, Ireland at the same time as them. So since we're doing the whole WWE ESPN thing, I do like that there is more of a crossover happening between WWE and sports and stuff. And I enjoyed watching that Iowa State and Kansas State game. College football season is live and in effect. And of course, if y'all know me, I'm from Alabama. So it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, and I'm just so excited. So if I see Roman Reigns or if I see Cody Rhodes at an Alabama Georgia game, it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be up and we're gonna scream and it's gonna be fun. And this college football season is just a time to be alive if you're in the South. The SEC has been the most dominant conference for a while, even though there are other conferences that are trying to step their game up, and I appreciate that, but you can never humble the South, baby. Um, you just can't do it. I will not be reiterating that any further because, of course, there's still so much about football that I'm even still figuring out, but I do still enjoy watching it. This will not be a football podcast. I thought about trying to transition it into that with the UFL, but I just don't have the time for it. But I do still enjoy watching football and other sports as well. So yeah, I love seeing my wrestling peeps on sports. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a really fun season. I'm ready for all the things. It's gonna be great. And yeah, we've reached the end of news and gossipish. So now we're gonna move into what I liked in wrestling this week. Ta-da! Gotta sing sometimes. So, in talking about Raw, I really enjoyed the match between Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, Raquel and Io, um, Io is out here trying to prove that she can climb up the ladder to become Women's World Champion again. Because, of course, she was the one who got cashed in on at Evolution. But, of course, now that title is vacant. And so now she was fighting against Raquel. And this match was absolutely stunning. And what was also stunning about this match was finding out that this was their first time ever fighting on the main roster. I was like, what? How is it that these two women have been on the main roster this long and this was their first time ever fighting? That was just so crazy to hear about. For them to report on commentary. But in the midst of this, after Io won her match with Raquel, Raquel is doing an excellent job, by the way. Roxanne proceeds to attack Io from behind, and because Io told Asuka and Kyrie not to interfere because she wanted to handle business on her own, out comes Rhea Ripley, and I have to zoom in on what Rhea was wearing. I'm sorry, guys, because when I tell you her outfit gagged the crap out of me, it gagged the crap out of me. She ran out and started hauling and started beating what Pat McAfee would call wholesale ass the whole in the ring. And she came out with this amazing bustier bra on. And when she ran out there, I was like, Rhea, what are you wearing? I literally yelled at the television. I was like, Rhea, what are you wearing? I was like, whoa, ma'am. Whoa. She came out there and protected Io and everything and looked good doing it. I was just like, Lord, I can't, I can't deal with this. Rhea, you're just so beautiful. I can't stand it. And then in more of the beauty, um, Rhea and Io, of course, are having their moment backstage where she, helped protected her. But Asuka and Kyrie are not having it. But it's mostly Asuka who is angry at Io, saying, "I thought you didn't need any help. Why did you get Rhea?" And Rhea was like, "Well, y'all weren't coming out there, so somebody else had to do it." And Io just does not take kindly to these two women fighting over her. She stormed off and was screaming in Japanese, and it was just really hard. And then Kyrie was just in the middle of it, and she just seemed like she was just so sad. And I was just like, oh my God, no. I do not like my girls fighting like this. I don't like it. Like, no, ladies, please. Let's be friends. But Rhea and Io have had this connection thing going on since Evolution and even a little bit before that. Like they had a great respect for each other because of course they have this rivalry going on where Rhea has never beaten Io Sky, and it just seems like now um with them having lost the women's world championship and still having that rivalry that could bubble towards the surface at any point, they're protecting each other, they're looking out for each other because, of course, they share the commonality of having been messed over on the title and everything. And they're really one of the most functional relationships or friendships, I should say, that we're seeing on the show. But it's just so sad because Asuka is jealous of it, and it's just like, oh my God, what is about to happen here? Are we about to see Asuka turn on Io, in a way that we have not seen before? It's just really sad. I hate it, but Jesus Christ. Um, Also, I see in the comments we have something. Patrick is like, okay, Patrick said Asuka, it was like she was gonna snap on Io. Like, right, that's kind of what it looked like. And I don't like that at all. And then another part of storytelling that we're seeing, because they were in Philadelphia, Rhea was standing right next to the wall where she got injured by Liv Morgan and had to relinquish the Women's World Championship after WrestleMania. So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit that they added right there as well. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this could go because there were some people online who also feel like Rhea could be about to turn heel as well. But I have this strange feeling that with how over Rhea Ripley is, no one's ever gonna not cheer for her. People are just gonna cheer for Rhea no matter what her character is because she's just thebomb.com. She's just the it girl at this point. So I don't know. I don't know. But we just gotta wait and see. But I don't like my girls fighting like this. Then we also have Bailey, who is just being very reflective, like I mentioned earlier, over all of her losses that she's sustained when it came to the Intercontinental Championship and her not winning here lately and all the above. And with all of that happening, she's just seemingly really upset, with where she's going. But in the midst of this, she's hearing voices in her head like Randy Orton. And those voices are the voices of her dark side that we have seen. Like the dark role model version is really screaming at her to just, come out. And she's struggling to keep it under control. But then there was this other part where this other voice was coming in saying, "Hey, do you want a hug?" And I'm just like, "Wait a minute, do you want a hug? A hug? Are we about to get Hugger Bailey? Are we about to get some strange crash out mixture of Hugger Bailey and the role model? Is that what's going on?" Because if that's the case, I'm all the way here for it. I am all the way here for it because, oh my God, I love character development. And if Bailey needs to crash out on Becky or crash out on whoever she wants to crash out on, whether it be Lyra or whatever, then I am all for it. Like if we lose one crash out in Naomi, then we'll gain another one in Bailey, and I am absolutely here for it. I'm so here for it. I'm so happy about it. I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I love it. And then we have Nikki Bella, who decided to basically make her presence felt after Becky's match for the IC title against Natalia. And I know a lot of people had their feelings about how come Natalia hasn't moved the Natty character over to Monday Night Raw. And I don't have any answers to that. I won't pretend to have any answers to that. But I will say that I would be interested in seeing that version of Natty show up on Raw. But of course, that's up to them. But I am excited to see Nikki challenge Becky for this IC title because their fights on the microphone were pretty fire and pretty fierce, and I love that for them, especially when Becky decided she was gonna throw all that shade at Nikki by saying, "Look, me and Seth are the greatest wrestling couple of all time, and you could have had that, but you can't see him anymore." And I was like, "Oh, that was so lethal." But in the midst of that, I think the thing that I enjoy about Nikki being in this is just the fact that her wrestling skills, and I feel like a lot of people don't give her credit for this, because here again, she came from the Divas era or whatever. But when it was time for her to lock in and get better with her wrestling skills when the revolution happened, she locked in and she really did, hone in on her craft and become a better single star. And to see her in contention for a title that once upon a time did not exist, it's pretty historic to me. I like it. And the fact that they come from two different generations of women's wrestling is interesting for me as well. So I'm definitely here for this feud. A part of me hopes that they fight in Paris, but then again, if they don't and they want to hold off and let them fight somewhere else, that will be, or at another PLE, and that would be cool too. But either way, I'm here for this view. I like it. It's very hot. I like the historic aspect of it, and just yeah, Nikki getting to fight for a title that did not exist is absolute when she was on her initial run is absolutely great. So I'm here for it. I love it. Now, I believe I'm moving into the men. And speaking of Seth Rollins, his outfit on Raw last week was absolutely fantastic. I love the crap out of it because the flowers were flowering. And when I tell you this is an outfit that I would wear gladly with like a black t-shirt underneath with the jacket or like a long sleeve shirt in the winter or something like that, I would wear the crap out of Seth's outfit. And I know King Troy probably styled this like he always does, and he is so amazing with the way that he styles Seth and the way that he styles Becky. And he's gonna style me one day. I know it. And I told him this in Las Vegas. I was like, "Look, you're gonna style me one day." He said, "Look, I'll hold you to it." And it has to happen at some point. I will work. I will do whatever I have to do to get to a point where he has to style me, where I can afford him. Because the stuff he be coming up with for people is just absolutely nuts. And I love this jumpsuit. It's just so cute. I love it so much. And I know it would keep me warm in the fall and in the winter. I just know it would. It was just really cute and it stole the show. If you're a world heavyweight champion, you have to dress like a world heavyweight champion. And that is what Seth Rollins does on the weekly. And I love him for it. Now, when it comes to the New Day, I will also give them credit where credit is due when it comes to fashion because their morning fashion has just been absolutely funny and their hair has been really laid and Xavier has just been having his thigh meat out and just out here talking about, just showing how fine he is. And as a woman, I really appreciate it. But much respect to his wife because, girl, that comes home to you, and I love that for you. But he has just been feeling himself lately. And you have Grayson Waller out there being their third man, and it's just not working for me. I want them to get their lives together and get Big E back so bad. But with the way that they've been talking crazy about neck injuries and with Big E popping back on social media at them, it's just not looking good. It's really not looking good. But the New Day and their fashion deserves to be talked about as well. Xavier's big hat had me on the floor 2 weeks ago, and his even smaller hat had me on the floor as well. So they definitely deserve their credit. And I will also say that yeah, that neck injury that Xavier claims that he has from Pence's match and from his Canadian destroyer, that's pretty hysterical. And the New Day's new T-shirt about them mourning with the newspaper print had me hollering as well, and I really want it because it's just so cute. Um, if you know me, you know I love newspaper print clothes. I have a really fantastic pair of pants that are newspaper print. So if you see this T-shirt on shop.com and you know that I love it because I'm putting it out there, buy it for your girl until I buy it for myself. Maybe I don't know. We'll see, but buy it because it's super cute and I love it. I know we're supposed to be hating the New Day because they committed one of the worst um acts of treason on the planet, but I just really love this t-shirt. It's really cute. And Corey is clearly enjoying himself with the t-shirt as well. Um it's really funny. And then another thing that I love is just seeing more of the AAA stars show up on Raw and SmackDown. I know a lot of people have their feelings about the acquisition of AAA by WWE, especially considering that news came out while we were in line to go into to go into press for WrestleMania. That was really crazy. To get that news in real time while standing in the desert like that at the Allegiant Stadium. But I really love the fact that we're seeing more of the stars pop up and intermingle with the WWE stars, especially with Dominic beefing with El Hijo del Vikingo for that AAA title. I'm really pumped to see where that goes because even though we might not like Dominic and his heel tactics, the truth of the matter is that he is the son of the most legendary luchador on the planet. And for him to dabble in that level of wrestling when once upon a time people felt like he really wasn't that good feels like a very like it feels very justified to me. So I'm here for it. I like seeing Viking on here. I like seeing Mr. Iguana on here and so many of the other people like Psycho Clown and everyone else. I'm just really here for seeing more of the talent on WWE programming. I'm here for it. Like make us want to watch it more and I really appreciate it. But have some more AAA WWE events somewhere else besides on the West Coast, please. But whatever. And also, I want to give credit where credit is due to Adam Page, because I mean, not Adam Page. I'm sorry, Lord. Adam Pierce. Adam Pierce. Forgive me. I'm so sorry. Slip of the tongue. Adam Pierce's comedic timing during Naomi's relinquishing promo and her pregnancy announcement was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen in my life. And it was also because Naomi was telling him to get to stepping. And I love how she was cussing him out and saying, look, I've had to relinquish a title before, but this time I'm not giving you shit, and it was really hilarious. And then, you know, and she was just like, I bet you are happy for me. Now get out of my ring with them church shoes on. And he decided to just leave. And the comedic timing of him in this segment and in all other segments deserves to be appreciated a lot more. He is so funny to me. He is just really hilarious, and sometimes to me he just has the sass of he has the sass of a southern mother, and he's not even from the south, and it's just so hysterical to me. So Adam Pierce, you deserve your flowers for the comedic timing that you have as the general manager because this whole exchange was just hilarious. So Adam Pierce, you are official and you are very funny, and you deserve your flowers for how you performed in this, for real. So that's all I liked from Raw last week. But let's get into this heat wave because yesterday heat wave happened and I was able to watch this in its totality because I had gotten off from work. I wasn't able to watch AEW Forbidden Door because there was the time difference with London and stuff, and I was at work and I was so mad and I was like, man, whatever. But anyway, Heatwave was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the match, the three-way, which started Heatwave, between Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, and Lola Vice for the number one contendership for the NXT Women's title. That's being held by JC Jane. This match was absolutely fantastic. The sharpness of Kalani Jordan has been something to see and something to behold. Like, she has always been a talented girl, and of course, she's a history maker as the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion. And she was somebody who I wanted to see get an opportunity at the NXT Women's title because she's just so good at what she does. Um, and throughout this match, there were just moments where her athleticism and her acrobatics were on point, but there was a sharpness to her movements that were just really noticeable, and I really appreciated that. Plus, I just love the fact that her parents were in the audience to watch her. This was really amazing as well. And then her parents are so real. They stayed the whole show, and I was just like, okay, parents, I see you being supportive, not only just for her match, but for everybody. Like, I love that so much. They stayed for the entirety of the show. So shout out to Miss Kalani's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jordan. I love y'all. That was great to see y'all stay throughout the whole show. That was cool. Um, and yeah, Lola Vice wound up winning, and Jada Parker did a good job too. But I will venture to say this from a character standpoint, it makes sense that Jada Parker will talk a whole lot of stuff and talk a lot of trash or whatever. But a part of me wants to see the version of Jada Parker that doesn't just talk her stuff, but also be able to back it up because she has been in so many opportunities for the NXT Women's title and to qualify to be a contender for it, but she just can't win. And it's just like, girl, when are you gonna have your moment to really like lock in and focus? I don't know. But I was happy that Lola Vice won because she has been working really hard between NXT and AAA as well. So that was really great to see her get that opportunity because she really hasn't had, that many opportunities at the NXT Women's title. Like, I would say maybe two matches. I can't remember fully. So I'm just really happy that she got that chance. And her versus JC is going to be really good too. Although you do have Lash in the background waiting for her opportunity too, because she feels like it should be her, even though she did just lose to Naya and stuff, and her and Jada got their little beef going on. So I do want my girl Lash to step on and step through because she has been popping off as well ever since the disillusion of the Meta Girls and Metaphor and all of the above, and she definitely did a good job at Evolution as well. So I want to see her come more into her own as a champion too, even if this means that she has to be the one to even take off the North American title off of Sol Ruka. Like, I don't know, but either way, I want gold around Lash's waist real soon, really soon. And if Jada gets some gold, and that's fine as well. But I want Lash to have her moment. I really do. And then another thing I love from NXT Heatwave was the fact that Ash by Elegance finally got her just due and won the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Of course, JC Jane had her triple threat match versus Ash by Elegance and Masha Slamovich. And one of the big things that was motivating Ash and Masha was just taking the TNA Knockouts title back to TNA and away from NXT. And I've been loving this back and forth that both of the brands have been having with each other. Um, and it's been really cool to see JC Jane walk around with two titles, especially since not that many people expected her to be the main girl out of the original collective of Toxic Attraction to be a big champion on this level. I love seeing it, but now we have Ash by Elegance being a champion and winning fair and square. This made me so happy because I remember the days when she was Dana Brooke, and in a different regime in WWE, she was struggling, and she was sort of like a sidekick to Charlotte. And then when she was a single star, there really wasn't much that they gave her to fully work with. There were some people online who felt like maybe she got called up from NXT a little bit too soon. Like, it was just so much discourse about her, and a part of me always wanted her to gain her wings, and to step up and be one of the main girls from that first collection of NXT stars, to have her moment. And sometimes her lesson, I think the lesson in her wrestling journey is that sometimes it takes you a minute to gain your wings and stuff. It takes you a minute. And then even when she was in NXT, it seemed like her and Kalani were going to have a thing before she was released. And then she signed to TNA and just completely reinvented herself. Sometimes that's what it takes. It takes you betting on yourself and reinventing yourself completely in order to get an opportunity to carry a championship. And now she has that chance. She is the face of the women's division, the knockouts division in TNA now. And I love that for her so much. She has her Elegance brand. They are also the knockouts tag team champions. And now she's a world champion. And I just love this for her. She absolutely deserved this. And for her to get that upper hand on a pay-per-view for the last brand that she was on in WWE, that she was fired from, was absolutely incredible. That is an incredible level of storytelling that life, you know, just organically gives. That's not something that you can just write. So I love this for Ash. Congratulations to her. And we love Dana Brooke and the steps she took to get to this point. But then you also have the falling out of Fatal Influence. Now you have JC Jane, who is only the NXT Women's Champion now. And you could blame a portion of it on Jasmine Nix because she got involved and slapped um Ash in the face and got caught by the referee, even though it can be argued that they should not have been sent out because it's a triple threat match and there are no DQs in a triple threat match. But still, they got sent away. The Elegance brand was still out there. And basically, JC got her own medicine handed to her because when it looked like she was about to cover Ash for the 1, 2, 3, Heather and I'm sorry, my brain is blanking on the other Elegance girl, yanked her off and basically did the same thing that Fatal Influence probably would have did for either one of them. So I'm ready for them to fall out. And I feel like it might happen this Tuesday or within the next couple of weeks. Because even JC after their match was talking trash to Jasmine Nix. And then of course Sol Ruka, Zaria, and Lola, were talking trash at them as well. But I just really feel like they're about to fall out at this point, and it's so sad. But at the same time, you cannot win two titles with the help of your team and then forget that they're the ones that helped you. That's not how life works. You cannot bash them when they're the reason why you are the NXT Women's Champion. Like, that's rude. That's real rude. But moving on, we also had an announcement from Ava, Ava. Santino. Okay. Ava, the general manager of NXT, she announced that the Speed Championships for both the men and the women will be defended on NXT. And she told Sol Ruka this because she's been holding, both of the titles that she's won and stuff. And of course, this means that WWE Speed will not be on, I guess, Twitter anymore. So RIP to that show. And in the midst of all of this, she also announced that there will be a women's tournament to see who will qualify to face Sol Ruka at No Mercy for the Women's Speed Championship. And this tournament will start on September the 2nd, which is the week of my birthday. Hey! If it's one thing I love more than anything in this world, is when a women's wrestling tournament is going on the week of my birthday. It's like WWE does this on purpose. To make me happy because they know I love wrestling and women's wrestling, and to put it on the week of my birthday is perfect. It's a match made in heaven. I'm here for it. Let's go because they did that for the Mae Young Classic too, and I was like, hey, let's go. So I'm really pumped about that, and I'm pumped to see how Soul is gonna defend that title and also defend the NXT Women's North American title too, and wondering what's going to happen with her friendship with Zarya and everything. They seem to be okay, but we can't forget the fact that Zarya has now speared Sol Ruka like twice, and I'm just hoping that somewhere down the road, they can either fix their friendship if it needs fixing at this point, or just, I don't know, if they're going to fight at some point. I don't know. But it will break my heart when they do break up because they are really cute. And I also feel like they would make a cute couple. I know they're a friendship thing. I feel like they would make a really cute couple as well, but who knows? But I am really pumped about the announcement of the Speed Women's Tournament. I'm pumped about it. So I love it. Camera just kind of went out. We're gonna figure this out. Huh? Okay, here we are. Sorry, y'all. All right, moving forward with the rest of the show. I did enjoy Blake Monroe versus Jordan Grace. They definitely had a very hard hitting match. And I feel like something that's getting lost in translation with the transition of Blake Monroe moving into NXT and with this glamorous character that she has is the fact that Miss Ma'am can go. Miss Ma'am could go. She was the foreign ace in Japan for a reason, okay? And she definitely showed this with this match here. I hate the way that she won the match because she pulled off the turnbuckle cover and then slammed Jordan Grace's head into it. I hate that that's how she won the match, but of course this means that their rivalry has more time to cook. Um but their match was fantastic. It was one of the best matches of the weekend. I absolutely enjoyed it. These two women hooped like they've never hooped before. I loved it. So if you have not watched this match, I do recommend you do because it was very hard hitting. Blake Monroe showed a lot of her strength, and Jordan Grace proved why she definitely deserves to be here in WWE. Now, I'm tired of her losing though. Like Jordan, I'm tired of her being cheated out of wins. Like I'm tired of her losing matches for championships. Like I want my girl to get back on her TNA dominance. I really do. But I guess I'm just being selfish, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. But still, this match was great. And This match was funny to look at because, of course, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, the North American champion, um, were representing Canada in their match versus Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. And as much as I love and respect Tyra May and Tavion as black talent, I absolutely love them in terms of black talent on NXT. They did not stand a chance in a crowd that absolutely loves Chelsea Green. Chelsea is just too over everywhere she is at this point, and it was just really interesting to see them kind of just go blank and just boo Tyra and Tavion, even though they were the USA team. And they were the home team and they was getting booed because Chelsea Green is that girl. It's so funny to me. And for some weird reason, I low key feel like Ethan Page was more tolerable with Chelsea Green by his side than he's ever been to me. Like, he's not bad in ring or anything else like that, but I just feel like if he were a little bit more sillier, then he would be better for me. Like, I don't know. I guess I just really like silly villains at this point. Like, if you're gonna be a heel, just be a silly heel. Like, don't just be a vicious, angry, evil, spiteful heel. And I feel like Ethan Page being really silly just did it for me. I can't explain why, but Chelsea being next to him just sort of unlocked a level of goofiness that we just haven't really seen from him. So I enjoyed this. It kind of made sense that Chelsea and Ethan won this. Um, but yeah, and a part of me kind of wants Tavion to try to fight for the North American title, but yeah, Chelsea Green is an icon and she is the moment and she is mother, and there's just no denying that at this point. So yeah, that was fun. This was a fun match between them all, and it was cool to see Tyra suplex Ethan because she can, and yeah, it's just really great. So that was cool. But Chelsea is mother. And I definitely love the NXT title match between Javon Evans and Oba Femi. I wanted to believe that Javon Evans was going to win this match so bad. I wanted him to win this match so bad because he was doing so good. And we've seen Oba Femi be so dominant over these past couple of years to where it's almost like an automatic thing where people are like, oh, well, Oba's going to win because he's Oba. Oba's going to win because this. Oba's going to win because he's the Ruben, because he's strong, because he's this, because he has that. But Javon Evans also has a level of strength in terms of his heart and strength because of his hard work and his abilities that shouldn't be overlooked either. Like Javon, it's like for every time Oba tried to knock Javon over, he was always landing on his feet like he was a cat. He is like a young Black Panther. It's nuts. Like every time he got knocked down, he would always get back up somehow. He would always land on his feet somehow. He would always pop Ova in the face, pop him in the chest like a young North Carolina man would. Like he was really popping off in this match. And what made me sad was is right in the moment where it looked like he won, the referee is like the thing that upset me was that somehow the original referee got knocked out of the ring. And right when Javon hit his cutter and had Oba dead to rights, and another referee was able to finally come in, which hardly if ever happens, the old referee, the OG referee, decides he wants to get up and say, no, he had his foot under the rope. And I'm just like, so you mean to tell me out of all of the moments where there is never an extra referee to come in, one comes in, makes the count, and the count doesn't count because the OG referee got up in time to see blah. I was so frustrated. I felt like Javon got screwed. I was so upset. I was like, Javon got screwed. I was so mad. I can't deal with this. Oh my God. And then Oba just took advantage of the thing and then further tossed him out onto the commentary desk the same way Trick tossed him out on Tuesday and then retained the title. I was so deflated. I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, Javon. And then on Twitter, he tweeted, well, maybe next time with the sad emoji. And I wanted to cry. I was just like, oh my God, Javon, you did so good. I want him to be NXT champion so bad. Javon. And I don't want him to just be pushed to the side either, just because we got Ricky right here. And I love Ricky Saints down. Y'all know I do. I love him and I'm glad that he's getting his things and he's not, tripping off of the sour grapes of having lost the North American title to Ethan Page again. I'm glad he's going for the big title, but I just don't want Javon Evans to be left out of the conversation because he performed so well. Oh my God. I just don't know. I'm very conflicted. But the one thing I'm not conflicted about is the fact that you have multiple black men stepping up to challenge for this title. You have a black man holding it, and you have Javon who just challenged for it, and then you also have Ricky who's getting ready to challenge for it as well. The representation on NXT with black men is just astounding, and I love it so much. And if handled correctly, the future of black men stars in WWE, it's already bright anyway, but it's gonna get even better with this crop of men. So I'm happy. I'm very happy about it. But I want justice for Javon now. Please. Give me my Javon, dang it. So NXT Heatwave was a vibe. I loved it, but I just want justice for Javon, god dang it. Give Javon his thing. So, in talking about women's wrestling, one of the matches that I did make it my business to watch from AEW's Forbidden Door pay per view in London was the match between my GOAT, Mercedes Moné, 9 belts Moné, going up against Persephone from CMLL, Alex Windsor, um, and Bozilla. And I believe Bozilla is from Stardom, and Alex Windsor is a part of AEW as well. She, I believe, got signed. Congratulations to her. And they fought in a fatal four-way match for the TBS title. And one thing I must say is Mercedes knows how to make an entrance, because the fact that she had the um officers march in with her other titles while she carried the TBS one to the ring while wearing the NWO inspired gear was a gag. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect down to the last minute detail. Her entrance was worthy of the queen that she is, and I will hear nothing else. I will hear nothing else about it. She slayed and she delivered all weekend long. I will hear nothing else about it. And the match was fantastic. I was absolutely impressed by Alex Windsor and Bozilla, and Persephone did well too. All of the women did great, and I can't wait to see more of what they have to offer. Um, in ring wise, because they were definitely giving it to Mercedes and to each other. There was one point where I thought Mercedes almost died after that mega suplex that Alex Windsor hit from the top rope. It was really crazy. But of course, Mercedes retained, and she is still 9 belts Monet, and I'm just very happy about that. And I also loved what she had to say in the media scrum too about making women's wrestling global and what she's trying to do. With her winning these titles, she's giving opportunities to other people, and it's not just a vanity thing for her. And the fact that she is just making this much history on the heels of her 10th anniversary with Bailey is just, kismet. It's perfect. It's just perfect timing because the star that she knew, she's being the star that she always knew she deserved to be. And that's just the truth of the matter. She's proving that she was always meant to be a star and not just be a good hand. So if she wins 10 more belts, I'll be happy about it. And that's all I got to say. But this match was fantastic though. I enjoyed it. Yeah, 9 belts Monet. Yes. Also, I do have some thoughts about Athena versus Timeless Tony Storm. I know that Athena won her contract at All in Texas, and I'm really happy that she had been showing up on AEW television a lot more because, of course, she is the forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and she's held that title for such a long time. No one can defeat her for that. And I love that she had this opportunity to face off against Tony Storm at Forbidden Door. And with the way that I saw that she performed in some of the clips I saw, I was very surprised to hear and to see that she did not win. And I understand that a lot of people feel that prestige is added when one person can win a title multiple times. Of course, women should be allowed to win titles multiple times and retain as many times as they want to, just as any man can. I support that notion. But there's a part of me that did want Athena to win that title off of Tony because it had been so long since we had seen Athena on AEW television, number one, and to see her carry both brands of AEW and ROH on her back would have been an amazing opportunity for her. So I was very disappointed to see that she didn't win that match. Even though I know that there was interference involved, but still, I was very disappointed that she didn't win. And I will also say and bring up a question on my platform because this is my show and I can say whatever I want. Um, does AEW have a problem when it comes to booking black women specifically to have credible chances to win the AEW Women's World Championship? Because to this day, since its existence, there's only been one black female champion for them, and it's only been Nyla Rose. And I was sort of under the impression when Jade Cargill was getting ready to leave that there wasn't a moment for her or an opening for her to challenge for the AEW Women's World Champion after she held the TBS title for so very long. And I know there were some people who might have been under the impression back then, well, oh well, she wasn't ready or she wasn't this. First of all, who are we to say that as fans? And number two, why couldn't she go for that title? Why can't, a black woman win this big of a opportunity? Why does it always have to be, you know, Tony or, someone else or Sheeta, or why does it always necessarily have to be them? Like, why can't a black woman hold the top title? Like, why can't it be safe for me to ask that question? Um, why hasn't Mercedes won that title the way that many felt that maybe she should have at All in Texas? I don't know. But and I understand that there is a story being told that every time Mercedes looks at Tony, she has this really worried look. And I understand because watching the match back, Tony had Mercedes's number throughout that whole match. She really did. She beat the crap out of her. And Tony is an excellent wrestler. And this is the best work that she's ever done character wise ever. But does AEW really do have a problem when it comes to booking black women for their top title? And it's also another question for their main men's title too. Like, do they have that issue? But I'll relax. Because there have been times where I've addressed things when it comes to AEW and brought criticism, and people have called me anything but a child of God, and I don't want that experience again. So let's move on. Now, moving into SmackDown, of course, Becky Lynch, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, made an appearance in her homeland of Dublin, Ireland, and it was really cool to see her have that opportunity and talk about how she went to a show in Ireland and could have sworn that Randy Orton looked at her, and that was really sweet. And now she's in the ring, as a champion in her homeland and stuff. But then her proceeding to run down Ireland in the process and say that they don't deserve a live TV show was just so horrible. But it was peak heel work and it was just hysterical. And she talked about all the benefits that she has in the US, including her hot American husband. And then also talking about how she should have a statue in there in Ireland as well, was just really hysterical. But and then in response, they decided to chant for Lyra, and I thought that was really sweet too. But Becky just came over here on SmackDown and just was raising all kinds of hell, and that was really funny. But in the midst of this, Tiffany Stratton, the women's champion, decided to come out and say, "Look, you're on my show, and I will run you out of here." But then out pops Nia Jax, and I love Nia Jax all the way down. But there's an issue with WWE that I'm seeing in terms of SmackDown. It's like Tiffany has been champion for over a year now, and it's great for her, or less than a year, or a little bit over a year, I should say. And to see her continuously feuding with Nia after she even beat her in a last woman standing match is growing pretty long in the tooth at this point. Like, there are other women I know who could challenge Tiffany. Why hasn't Zelina challenged Tiffany Stratton? How come Meechin hasn't challenged her? How come even Chelsea Green hasn't challenged Tiffany Stratton for that title? Like, there are so many other women. I mean, even Nikki Cross, who I'll get to in a minute, could have challenged for that women's world championship. How come Tiffany is just in limbo with Nia and then Jade too? Like, why is it just that? I don't. I'm very confused about the trajectory of things. It's just really weird for me. I guess for me, I guess if I ran a promotion creatively, I would want other women who have not had a chance to get in on the action. But I've never ran a company, so I can't pretend to even know that. But Nia always getting in Tiffany's face is it's a bit long in the tooth now, and I'm just gonna need for them to wrap it up, please. Um, and I still want Jade to get her things as well. So yeah. But Jade did do a fantastic job in that tag team match though, and I'm gonna need for y'all to stop with the notion that she is not good enough, because she really is, and she's been putting in that work. So she definitely deserves to be a champion in WWE at some point. Even though, I mean, a singles champion, because she's been a tag team champion twice now. But in terms of singles gold, I still want her to get her things. And I also love that Ireland was actually cheering for her, because here lately, whenever any of these black women go to these international shows, they be booing the crap out of them. And I'm gonna need for my international people to get your stuff together. Stop booing these black women. Stop it. I understand that y'all might have y'all favorites or whatever, but it's kind of distasteful for y'all to just be booing them when they have these characters and they're working just as hard as the people that y'all like, and y'all are just booing them, and it just seems very disrespectful, and it quite frankly sounds kind of racist. But I'm gonna need for y'all to chill. Chill on the black women. It can't feel good. It cannot feel good to the black people in the audience. Um, it can't feel good. Stop booing them, please. But yeah, I'll give credit where credit is due to Dublin. They were actually cheering for Jade. But the rest of y'all, get it together. Also, I just wanted to hold space for Charlotte Flair's gear Friday, because this was absolutely nuts. Because it was just so cute. I was just like, Charlotte, whoever is making your gear now is going ham for no reason. And I mean no reason at all. It's super cute. I love it. I love it to death. It's really cute. It's just so cute. The way Charlotte has been dressing lately, even with her regular outfits, it's almost like she's out here proving that she is not only just a great wrestler, but she's also a bad bee. And her body is just bodying, and it just looks incredible. And I just want to know, what's the secret? What's the workout plan? What is it? Because I want to be able to walk around in a crop top like that. But these fries, the fries and the sugar, it's just so hard to give up, Charlotte. Like, help me. Help me. Let me know what's going on. Cause I wanna be out here just like you in these outfits, girl. Cause you are eating us up every week. The sleigh. I just can't deal with it. Charlotte, you will always be famous. Your fashion is everything. And I love that Piper actually, even though she cheated with the Secret Harvest, I love that Piper had a moment where she actually defeated Charlotte. And I am here for Charlotte and Alexa to face off against the Secret Harvest for the tag team titles. I'm definitely here for it. But I was happy to see Piper get that kind of win over someone like Charlotte. Like that was really good. I love that for her. So that was cool. And then also when it comes to the women on SmackDown, we have Julia who won the Women's United States Championship off of my girl Zelina, which makes me sad just thinking about it. And my girl Zelina has disappeared, and I'm gonna need for her to come back. But or at least challenge for the women's world, well, for the women's championship or something. And then you have Kiana James on here being her representation. And then you have Michin who wants to say, look, I'm tired of these missed calls. I need you to give me a shot at this US title. But in the background, you see Nikki Cross sneaking behind, waiting to make her move. And I'm just like, uh-oh, is Nikki about to get her some gold too? Because of course the Wyatt Six, they're currently holding the tag team titles. So does this mean Nikki has her eye on the United States Championship too? If that's the case, then I'm kind of here for it because the spooky time is on the way. Shout out to Queso. It's spooky time, Julia. As much as talented as you are, as Miss Beautiful Man is, I'm not sure if you and Kiana can battle against spooky time. I'm not sure if that can work. But I also do want Michin to get more of an opportunity as well because she's a hard worker and she's someone who has proven that she's more than a good hand as well. So I want to see her get more of an opportunity too. But spooky time is coming up. So, yeah. And when it comes to the men on SmackDown, I am so freaking happy that we are seeing more of Carmelo out here with the Miz. Mello don't Miz is falling apart at the seams, and it's happening in such a breadcrumb of a way that I'm enjoying. It's like you can see that the Miz is clocking Carmelo's tea, and then Carmelo is clocking the Miz's tea, and it's almost like they either respect it or they're just waiting for the other one is waiting for the other one to attack the other. And I'm ready for this feud. If Carmelo and the Miz are about to have a feud, then I am so here for it because this is what I wanted. Because at one point, the Miz went off to do something else because he's that dude. And Carmelo wasn't being seen for a minute. And he kind of wanted to like put his name out there for the United States Championship. And I'm here for that. But then the Miz comes back and sort of gets in his way. And I know Carmelo isn't here for it because he's him and he wants to prove himself as a single star. But then, he could win a tag title with the Miz because he and them and the Street Profits got to fight to become number one contenders. But a feud between Carmelo Hayes and The Miz would be amazing. I want them to have mic time. I want them to have vignettes. I want them to have all the things. And I'm just really happy to see Carmelo back on my television on a consistent basis again. Cause dang it, that's my boy. Y'all know I love him. And he's a friend of the pod and I'm just so happy. But yeah, they're both clocking each other. And we'll see in the coming weeks which one is truly standing on business. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's so intriguing, and I feel like this picture basically represents what their dynamic is like. Look, it's me. Pow! Move out of my way. I love it. And also, let's just say this. Do y'all want to see a dead body? John Cena cooked. Speaking of Carmelo, John Cena put it in the pot and let the beef cook on Logan Paul on that microphone. That thing called Logan Paul a parasite. He got him together and gathered him about his legal problems. He gathered him and told him, look, I had a career that spanned 23 years while you and your brother were making Vine videos. Like, he gathered him in a way that can only be described as biblical. Do you understand? I was sitting on the couch watching this gathering happen, and I was yelling at the TV. I was like, yes, gather him, John, get him together. Get him together. I don't even want to see them fight. I just want to see John Cena gather him for 20 more minutes on the microphone. He got him all the way together. That, my friends, is how you clear a bee. And John Cena cleared him on that microphone. And he challenged his passion. Because as you can see, it's like, because Logan Paul be out here bragging like he done did like 10,000 things for the wrestling business, knowing full well, baby, you have only been here for about less than 3 years. Be serious. Be serious, baby. You acting like you the best thing to happen to wrestling since wrestling. Like, goodbye. This was a whole thing before you got there, and it's gonna be a whole thing after you're gone. Humble yourself before the king. Humble yourself before the chain gang soldier, okay? You ain't finna do him like this. I could do without their match, honestly, because I would prefer if John Cena was fighting somebody else like AJ Styles, like he mentioned on in the promo, or fighting Carmelo Hayes, or fighting somebody who's never fought him before. And I know Logan has never fought him before, now that I think about it. But it's just the principle. Like, baby, you're using your influence to jump the line. And it's just like, boy, goodbye. I don't care. I don't care. Like, please leave. Please leave. But John Cena gathered the crap out of him, and that was really funny. I loved it. I loved it. So, we have reached the end of our time together. That's all I liked in wrestling this week and this weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being patient. With me, because I've had lots of other stuff going on in my life. But I'm going to try to be more consistent because, like I said, I do have a new co host that is coming on, Bianca Addison. And there's just so much that I want to do with this platform. And in order for that to happen, I'm going to have to be more consistent. And I want to be more consistent for y'all and for this platform. So thank you guys so much for being here for the ride, still celebrating, still being here for stuff. Now, of course, this week is going to be an interesting week after what we just went through. But then, of course, next week is my birthday week. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But either way, just be on the lookout for any and all announcements, of course. We've reached the end of our time together, but thank you guys so much for watching this episode wherever you're watching, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Thank you. Of course, please know that you can follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. And you can follow the show, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, which has the logo at the top of the screen that you see right here, which HWP in the middle of a wrestling ring. And it has the 5-year logo on it. But either way, it's this logo. We got to 504 subscribers, so if we can get those numbers up, that would be really great. And of course, anytime you see me rather sharing clips of this show, HWP Extra, or Steph and Cat Talk Wow, feel free to repost and reshare it with your friends that are getting into wrestling or watching wrestling. Share it and just get the word out there so I can, just grow more and just be more exposed to things. And of course, if you want to book your girl for commentary or for panel work or ring announcing work or whatever for any of your indie shows that's in Alabama or anywhere else, because I do travel, please DM your girl, call your girl, or whatever. Email me at hardywrestlingpodcast@gmail.com, and I will get back to you and we will discuss appearances and prices and rates and all of the above. And yeah, and read all of my articles on Daily DDT. I'm still working on stuff with them, and I'm just really grateful to Raphael and that team for being patient with me, and just letting me get all of my crazy ideas out there. Trust your crazy ideas, people. That's my advice. So, with that being said, this has been the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl, Stephanie Hardy. Please enjoy Raw this afternoon, and also tonight, depending on where you're watching from. And until next time, bye, y'all.